Hello everyone, how are you today? I know yesterday's video was a bit sad, and I wasn't expecting that to happen, honestly. I know it's still pretty fresh with my dad passing. It's only been going on 5 months now, and it can take up to 2 years to get over someone passing away. Of course, you'll always miss them and they'll always be with you. And you'll have your moments in life wishing that they were still there with you. Today, I was wanting to talk about when my family and I have had COVID. We had it in February and we had it in October. February, it wasn't too bad. We did go to the hospital to get checked out, but at that time, at least in our area, there was no testing for COVID. They did test us for strep and flu, and it came back negative on all of us. I ended up doing 2 rounds of steroids, which I believed helped me quite a bit. My husband and my son, they didn't have it nowhere near as bad as what I did, but I also have asthma. And I think it probably only took us about a week to get over it that time. But the second time we had it in October. October, it was way different than the first time around. My husband and I, we both felt like death almost. There was points where I thought, if I fall asleep, I may not wake up. I just felt way ran down. I was so weak, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't really make myself anything to eat or even get myself something to drink. My hair really wasn't taken care of, unfortunately. But thankfully, I was able to stay home. I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. I did go to the emergency room a couple of times to get some fluids. My husband, unfortunately, the last time he went to the emergency room, he ended up getting admitted to the hospital for about 3 days. And he wasn't the only one that we knew that ended up admitted. It started with our church, and about half of the church members ended up getting admitted to the hospital, or ended up with COVID. And we had about 4 or 5 people that were admitted to the hospital. And they were all in there about the same amount of time. We had one person that was a little bit older that was in the hospital longer. He was having a tough time to recover, but he has recovered and he's doing well now. My husband, the reason that they admitted him, his oxygen, it wasn't staying where it needed to when they were observing him in the emergency room. Anytime he would move, it would drop down. For someone our age, it should be at least no lower than 95, but it should at least be 98 to 100 when we're well and don't have any type of sickness. But his was dropping down into the 80s. He ended up being on oxygen, but he only needed 2 liters. Our son, he only had a couple, 2, maybe 3 days worth of symptoms. He had a headache for a couple of days, a fever, and then a runny, stuffy nose. But that was it, and he was fine. But since he still had a quarantine, he wasn't able to go to school or anything, of course. And the doctors in the emergency room said that he was over his symptoms and he didn't need anything else, and he didn't have any symptoms for well over 24 hours. My mom ended up having to come get him and take him for a few days with my husband in the hospital, and I wasn't able really to do anything for myself. There was no way I was able to take care of him. And no, my mom did not end up with COVID. She ended up getting tested probably about a week later because she did have a runny, stuffy nose. But her test come back negative. She did not have it. She didn't contract it at all. So we're about 2 months out from when we had it, and probably wasn't contagious anymore. COVID isn't something that you need to mess around with. I highly encourage that you do wear your mask. It may not prevent it, but it definitely helps. Because if you sneeze or cough, or even when you're talking, you do have those little particles that come out, and the masks do help catch those. No, it's not going to catch everything, but it does help. And if someone else is wearing their mask too, and if they did have it, it's going to catch it somewhat. And there's less chance, if you're both wearing your mask, that you would contract it if you're in the same room. I mean, there's people out there that don't realize that they have it because you're contagious, I believe, before your symptoms are fully kicked in. So please wear your mask. Please take care of yourself. Make sure that if you do get it, you're taking some calcium and zinc. That's what the hospital had my husband on. I ended up taking it myself at home. And if you're struggling with that energy, I would highly recommend maybe thinking about taking some B12. But of course, before you take any medications or vitamins, please talk to your doctor to make sure you're able to take it first. I really do hope that when the vaccines do come out, that they are done right. And I hope that no one has any reactions to them or anything. I know I am very leery about it. I don't want to be the first one in line saying, hey, me, I wanted the vaccine. I want to see how it goes first. And I know they're saying that it is going to be recommended and everyone's going to have to get it. But I'm probably going to wait as long as I can before I get it. And hopefully maybe some people out there that have gotten it already see how they're doing with it, and they're doing okay. As long as everyone else is doing okay. Of course I'm going to get it. Of course my family will get it. But I just want to be on the safe side first before we do get it. And I would highly recommend that if you have been around it and you were told about it and you didn't know that you were around it, make sure that you're cleaning your hands really well. Make sure you get in between your fingernails and in between your fingers and under your fingernails. Get some Lysol. Get some Microban. Microban is supposed to be longer lasting than Lysol. But if you do get the Microban, please test it first. We had gotten the multi-surface, just the spray, not the aerosol can, and it tried to take some of the paint off of one of our doors. Of course, our doors are metal, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, or the type of paint, but test it first if you do get it. We haven't been able to find the Microban in the aerosol cans. That has pretty much been wiped out on our shelves for quite a while. As soon as they get it in, it's gone. We have been thankful, though, that we have not had to go searching from store to store for toilet paper. There's plenty of places where we live, and we have a store not too far away from us that is usually in stock no matter what's going on. And if you do get sick with it or even anything else, at the beginning of your sickness, I would highly recommend trying to stock up on groceries and do the pickup if possible. When we were first diagnosed, I had to go do that for us because I was the one that was feeling the best at that time. So I had to go and do a pickup order. And if you have a trunk, all you have to do is pop your trunk, and usually they are able to load it for you. It's really enough probably talking about COVID for now. If you have any questions for me about our experience going through COVID, please leave a comment, and I'll try to answer your question the best that I can. Of course, everyone's symptoms are different, and it affects everyone differently. Some people, they don't really get sick at all. One family in our church, there's 4 people, the mom, dad, then they have a son and a daughter. Well, the mom and the 2 kids, they ended up being more sick than the dad did. The dad really didn't have any symptoms, even though he did test positive. Like I said, leave a comment, and if you could, please like, and if you feel like it, go ahead and subscribe. I want to try to do this. Hopefully, I'm not going to say every day, but I will try almost every day, Monday through Friday if possible. With a school break coming up, it may not be as much, but I'll try to see if I can find some time in there, and hopefully I can get some time to myself where I'm able to do that. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.